Now, something I will say that I do accept was the fact that the Carolina Panthers did not give up 2 first-round picks. It was reported earlier this week.
Not giving up. They were going to accept it.
Giving up Brian Burns for 2 first-round picks. It was reported earlier this week by Albert Breer that the Carolina Panthers were offered a 2024 and a 2025 first-round pick by the LA Rams for Brian Burns. Adam Gold said that should have been a no-brainer move. That's what he said. I disagree with Adam.
I disagree too.
I disagree with Adam because I don't think this roster is honestly that far away from actually being good.
I've been telling you this.
I know you have.
I've been telling you
this. You have been. You've been on this bandwagon.
I'm glad you're coming around now.
You have been on this bandwagon. I'm grabbing on. I'm on a skateboard, but I'm holding on to the back.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? But you're right. This roster actually, now that I actually can see the roster play to their potential under Steve Wilks, under Matt Rhule, it's like, oh, wait, they actually do have.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they had some dudes.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Burns, Chin, Brown, J.C. Horn when he's healthy. Like, they do have some guys that are out there, like building blocks. But my thing is that there's no guarantee that a first-round pick's going to work out. So why are you going to give up a guy who's 24 years old for a 24 draft pick or a 25 draft pick for someone who may not help your team until 26, 27?
That's the whole thing, because it was like when I heard it was the Rams, it was like, so when are these first-round picks happening in 2029? Because the Rams historically just give up their first-rounders because they're all in on trading for guys.
Winning now.
So they don't have a first-round pick in 2023. And
so
so the next one will be 24 after that. And so it's like, you don't need that, because then you're going to be without something in 2023. That doesn't help me right now. And the Panthers aren't, as everybody for some reason nationally thinks that the Panthers are tanking. They're not tanking. They're not trying to. They're not very good right now. No. But because they don't have a foundation. Matt Rhule didn't build them a foundation to really build off of. So now they
had no identity under.
Now they're building a foundation. They're building an identity, and once they actually have that, whether it's under Wilks or another capable NFL caliber coach, then you will see how good this roster can possibly be. And I'm glad that they didn't give up anything for that. Now, if they would have traded somebody like a Shaq Thompson, I'm glad they didn't. But if they would have done that, I wouldn't have minded that.
Yes.
But you don't give up Derrick Brown. You don't give up Brian Burns. Like, those are guys that you need to build your defense, and so that this is an attractive job if you do decide to move on from Steve Wilks.
And I'm actually going to go back. I know you weren't here because you and your wife were having your second child 2 weeks ago. I'm actually going to go back into my Matt Rhule 7-year plan and how it's going to work. Because Matt Rhule, when he hired, said, it took Jay-Z 7 years to become an overnight sensation. At the end of the day, we're going to be like Jay-Z. But 7 years of Matt Rhule will be when? The year 2026, right?
Yeah.
2026. Okay?
Yeah. Would have been his 7th season. Yeah.
Would have been his 7th season. So if you take the guys that they have now who are young, will be in their prime. So like Burns, Chin, those guys will be around like their age 28, 29 years. Their prime years of their career, all right? Or right in the peak of their careers. So you take that, coupled with all these draft picks that you got from the Christian McCaffrey trade that are going to come in 2023, and hopefully, if they continue to lose, which will help them, get a high draft pick, and if they do get a franchise quarterback, that those guys will be in year 4 of their deals, their 4th year of their rookie contracts in 2026. So if you draft well, you sign the right free agents over the next few years, boom, 2026, I'm calling it. Carolina Panthers Super Bowl. Put it down. Calling it right now. I mean, year 7 of Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule might actually be the best thing for the Carolina Panthers. It's so weird to say that, but he might be the best thing for the Carolina Panthers.
Long term, because
he stunk, I think, and it put him in position to get all these good players.
Is also, if you look at it this way too, that's David Tepper's first head coaching hire.
Yeah,
and so now he knows, okay, I wasted money on this. I'm not going to get the hotshot college coach to try to come in.
Don't do that.
And if I am, I'm not going to give him full organizational control.
God, no.
Because most head coaches in the NFL don't have control over who's cut and who's drafted and all that. Like, that doesn't have the final say. Of course, they have a say into it. They don't have the final say. And Matt Rhule had the final say. He actually could overrule, what's my man's name? Scott Fitterer.
Yeah.
The GM. He actually had say over the social media accounts.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
What do you need that for?
You don't.
So
you're
now,
not recruiting.
So now David Tepper understands, I'm not going to give anybody that much control ever again. and I'm not going to make that hire from from college ranks. I need to get a guy who's been in the NFL, who knows how the NFL works, and that is Steve Wilks. That's somebody else, Sean Payton, whoever that you consider for next year. He's not going to get Sean Payton, but money talks. Don't think that David Tepper won't try. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, if I'm the Saints, I'd be like, give me all those draft picks you just got for Christian McCaffrey and then all the rest of your draft picks. That's what I would say in order to get, because Sean Payton's under contract through 2024 with the New Orleans Saints. So you have to give up a lot in order to get him. But do you think the fan base right now that Matt Rhule's gone, they're seeing changes under Steve Wilks? Because when San Francisco was in town,
it was bad.
It was bad. Like, it was a sea of red. It was sea of red and empty seats. That's what it was. It was a home game. Believe it or not, Christian McCaffrey's first home game for the San Francisco 49ers was part of the Carolina Panthers against the 49ers at Bank of America Stadium. It was an audition.
Yeah,
Go figure.
It was an audition.
Do you think the fan base, because there's the vibe around the team is different now, the last few weeks. It's just different. Even though they lost to Atlanta, the vibe around the team's different. Do you think the fan base is going to keep showing out or will come back even though they might be losing games this season? You think they're going to start coming back, or you think we're going to see a lot of empty seats and out-of-town visitors?
I think this is a perfect time for fans to try to come back. I think it all hinges upon what they do over the next 2 games. So, of course, tomorrow they have the Cincinnati Bengals on the road.
Which we'll get into that in a little bit.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Then, Thursday night, first off, the only primetime game that the Panthers are going to have this year, right?
Thankfully.
So that's something where before, when Cam Newton was here, you're used to having at least a Monday night or a Sunday night game at some point during the season. You're going to have some primetime games. The Panthers haven't been in primetime games like that over the last 3 years. It's been very sparse. So when you have a primetime game, that is enough excitement right there. But then you're going to have the all-black helmets with the all-black Panthers jerseys and pants with that look on the field. The Panthers look decent, at least capable tomorrow. Then you have that game against Atlanta, and if they look good in that game, then I think the rest of the season you should see a better turnout.
Okay.
But if they end up stinking the next 2, then, there's going to be a lot of people going to be like, why should I spend my hard-earned money? Like, inflation is crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Prices are going up on everything. Apple Music just told me they're going to charge me more money.
Really?
Coming up, yeah.
God.
It's going to be $10.99 now.
How dare.
Everything else is going up. Netflix is always going up. Disney Plus is going up. I have to pay for these things. You know what I'm saying? Why should I pay some money for the Carolina Panthers? People are going to be thinking about it.
We'll get into that in a little bit. We only got 30 seconds left here. But the biggest way you actually give teams or franchise or anything that you can never give back or never get back, time. Like, am I willing to give you my time?
Right.
Because if I'm not willing to give you my time, that's when you truly lose a fan base. I'm curious to see how things come back for the Carolina Panthers and their fan base.